Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. For more information on increasing your cash flow, becoming your own money manager, and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy, contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789. 3 Hues Painting Studio. Come paint, sip, and party at 3 Hues. Visit our website today at 3hueshouston.com.
Hello. Welcome to the Docs on the Sphere TV. I am Dr. Ashandra Batiste. I am a dentist, and so you can find me in several places, one being my dental office, which is Elite Dental Wellness, located at the corner of Fondren and Westheimer. And, of course, you can follow me on all of my social media platforms. Instagram is hotdoc.com, and Facebook and Twitter, Ashandra Batiste. Thank you for joining us today. I, of course, want to give a shout out to my co-host who's back in the building. I think this is like 2 weeks in a row, so I got it.
It's amazing that I live in Houston right now. Hi, everybody. Guys, this is Dr. Simone Ellis. I'm super excited to be back and actually at the studio with my girls. So, of course, you can find me on Facebook at Simone Ellis and also The Ambitious Dentist. And you can also find me on Instagram at Dr. Simone Ellis and The Ambitious Dentist as well. My practice is at Smile Design Studios. We're located in Sugar Land, Texas, and Missouri City. Please give us a call if you need some smiling, fixing, and everything else like that. And one of the cool things I wanted to tell everybody, I'm actually going to be speaking at the NDA conference out in Dallas this week coming up on Friday and Saturday. So come check me out there. Love to meet all you smiling faces. It's kind of exciting. And brunch and slay. We need to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. I'm brunching and slaying tomorrow.
She always slays, but now you have some brunch added to it.
It's only because I got my hair straightened.
Y'all should have seen this hair toss and pop. If you haven't seen the video, go to her.
You
Facebook
need to go to my Instagram, my Facebook.
Is in slow mo of this hair tossing, but it is amazing.
I just got it colored. Y'all can't really see it. I've already spoken with management about the lighting in here because you can't really see.
Your highlights are gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's like
they're
a nice
popping
plump
in real life.
Yeah,
but
no, they really are.
You know, they're so I one shout out to Charmaine for the pop.
Charmaine.
And the video.
How's pregnancy treating you?
Girl, well, I tell you what it is doing to me. It's making me feel 37 and pregnant. Like,
oh, wow.
I mean, shout out to the Janet Jacksons of the world because
that's a lot for Janet Jackson. Even.
Look, if I was
had Janet Jackson money, you'd still get pregnant at 50.
If my husband was a gazillionaire, I would have them until I'm 88. Like, why not?
But did you see Beyonce's pictures? I know. So these names, though, y'all, I swear, like, rich people stay naming people like Sir and Rumi.
Why not?
Girl, bye.
Why not? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Like your whole life, you will be
people
crowned.
Are in authority with you. I just was like, the picture was gorgeous, though. But did you see her belly button?
Like, it was off center a little bit. It stressed me out some. Like, because I had to zoom in.
You really got to be paying attention. But I still love her. Concerts going. You going to the Jay-Z concert? You're going to be good and pregnant when it comes to Houston.
I've already decided that I just need to be in, like, either some J's, some Air Max, something that's going to let my foot expand a touch.
Classy.
Classy.
I'm
going to be classy, and I will be 37 weeks pregnant in that thing.
Are you going to the concert?
Why wouldn't I?
Oh my gosh. So as you guys know, Dr. Batiste is our street savvy. She keeps the ear to the streets. They were just talking about some song that I hadn't heard before.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Is this all of Issa Rae?
Oh my God.
It's coming from her, right? From like the TV show.
Stop talking.
No, I'm thinking like Issa Rae.
No.
All right. Well, you know it.
No, this is
It's fine. I don't care. Y'all
this
judge
is
me.
Pretty Girls Love Trap.
But because you see people saying it's a vacation, it's a vibe, it's a this, and I was like, is that from Issa Rae? Because I've never seen ISSA until it's to her show,
Till Insecure.
Yes,
which I love.
I love the show.
Yeah, it's a great show.
That's
but
where Issa is coming from.
I don't
right?
know. I don't know where it's really coming from, but if it's from her, then I will give her all the credit because she deserves it.
So okay,
Absolutely.
well, it's a vibe. It's a show today that we got going on about thick thighs and obesity.
Thick thighs may not save lives.
They're not saving lives. They're making lives a little bit more complicated. I would love to introduce our two hosts today. Dr. Shanika, how are you doing today?
I cannot complain. OMG, I love y'all.
The tomfoolery is real. I've missed her because we haven't been in the studio
not my fault.
because she leaves out of town and she's wrecked.
No. My pregnant wide behind is right in this chair. Meanwhile, the one that has her passport stamped is this one.
We doing flights, not feelings over here, catching flights.
See,
But
see.
Dr. Shanika, tell us a little bit about you and where we can find you.
Absolutely. I am Dr. Shanika, America's favorite family doctor. I teach individuals how to live healthier, happier lives one plate at a time. And you can find me at www.drshanika.com. And you can find me on pretty much all social media handles, Dr. Shanika.
Girl, you're
Thank you guys so
gorgeous.
much.
I love this profile picture. Go ahead. Like you telling them how to get their life together. You look great.
Well, thank you.
Awesome.
I'm trying to be like you guys. You guys are so fashionable and so, so put
You really are
together.
talking about Ashandra. You know, we already had a moment when I came in here. She's like, I just got to get my friend
No,
together.
I did. I did. But she is talking about both of us because I helped you get together.
She did.
So.
Oh, but I have a makeup class on Sunday. Shout out to Amethyst. I'm going to learn how to do some eyebrows and let's not go there. We'll talk about it after the show. But that's for my health and wellness. And another guest that we have today is one of my favorite chefs, Chef Greenhouse over here. So he's going to be talking to us a little bit about his story. So go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them where we can find you.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Greenhouse. I'm executive chef and owner of Extraordinary Creations.
You got to speak up. You got to get...
I'm sorry.
I'm yelling about your business. He's like, so I'm professional right now. But tell us what you do.
I own my own business. I have been a caterer for the last 7 years. Taking it full-time now, part-time before, and just bringing health and wellness to the culinary side.
Well, his food is awesome. So he does a lot of our events at the office, and we're super excited to have you. How long
Thank
have
you.
you been a chef for?
I have been a chef since 2007. I have been cooking since I was 10.
Oh, great.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I'm excited to, if you guys need either contacts, please make sure you're heading over to the docs to find out their information. And they also have their information on the podcast as well. So Dr. Chandra, let's get into these thick thighs and
So of course today's our topic of today is kind of obesity and the body image and how our diets are affecting our livelihoods and what we're choosing to put into our bodies. And so you and I had this kind of similar conversation maybe a few weeks ago about how kind of the embracing of your body
right.
has led to maybe some unhealthy living, but
Right.
it's like, like there's a tank top that says thick thighs saves lives, right?
Right.
And not that I don't disagree. I mean, I have asked you to share some of your bottom half with me.
As a thick thigh woman. I don't know about me saving lives. I save teeth on the regular, but no, we definitely want to talk about a little bit more of how curvy is too curvy. So I saw a really cool article on Odyssey online, and it was talking about this one young lady, I think her name was Cotton, Miss Cotton, actually discusses, body positivity and are we ignoring the health concerns? And so Doc and Chef Greenhouse, we want to make sure you chime in and let us know, like when you look at those type of things, body positivity or body imaging, what is too much? How thick is too thick? Let's go at it.
Absolutely. So I think what people miss out on is that you actually want to maintain a healthy lifestyle, but you just may not be there yet. So I think it started with body shaming, or fat shaming for individuals who were considered overweight and obese. And they're trying, they want bathing suits, they want to wear the bikinis, they want to wear the sexy outfits, but society kind of told them that no, you got to be skinny, you got to you have to look a certain way, especially with the models that they portrayed to society in general. So people started to kind of that's the term that's used, kind of fat shame people, saying that you're not sexy, you're not beautiful. And it created an entire movement of body positivity. So embrace the curves that you have, right? And love the skin that you're in, love the body that you're in. And that's great. And every person should embrace, what I won't say what God gave you, but embrace, the body that you have right now. But at the same time, to avoid health complications associated with that, you also have to keep in mind that, okay, I'm here now, I'm going to love, but I am also going to take the time to get to where I need to be. And I think that's where some of the disconnect is, because a lot of stars, unfortunately, are saying, yeah, I'm big, I'm beautiful. That's it. I'm going to continue to eat my donuts. I'm going to continue to live. I'm going to continue to live a sedentary lifestyle because I want you to accept me for who I am. And I think that's where the disconnect is.
I agree. I mean, definitely when we see people out on the Gabby Sidibe is one of the major ones where, she had a lot of body shaming, and who's some other big celebrities that, as far as the image wise, they're like, I'm just going to embrace it. And then you also start to see them kind of transition into a different of weight loss, though. Monique was one of them. Mm-hmm. Like, so they're like, I'm going to be big, I'm going to be beautiful. And then I don't know if society starts to kind of keep playing on that, they kind of move into that direction. Jeremy, what was your take on, like, basically body image and things like that? What was the catalyst to you to move towards your story?
Just getting healthier, prolonged living.
So what is your story? I mean, we know, but tell the audience what is your story? Okay,
perfect. So back in 2011, I went to see a gastric surgeon to have the gastric bypass surgery. At that time, I was working out in Beaumont, so time really didn't allow me to do it. And I just wasn't ready mentally. It's a process to get into it. So I got married 2 years ago and have a wife.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Wife and 3 daughters. So for me, the decision was to get healthy, to be here longer, to enjoy life with my family.
That's cool.
Okay.
That's cool.
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
So do you feel like you went through some fat shaming?
Absolutely. Being obese is really hard. It's people look at you when you're eating. People look at you when you're in the grocery store, and they're looking like, "Are you really going to eat?" Everybody's situation is different. Some's medical related. Some's because they overeat, comfort eating, emotional eating. Not everybody's the same, but people don't know what your story is.
Yeah, and I want to get into a little bit more about that in detail, but I want to talk about this portion of the show is sponsored by the Houston Housewives of Finance. Did you know that only 4 states of the United States offer financial education? 33% of them, or more than 77 million of Americans, don't pay their bills on time. 39% of Americans carry credit card debt from month to month, and 39% of the adults say that they do not have enough savings. Don't become one of those statistics. Let the Houston Housewife of Finance advise you on increasing your cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling your complimentary personal financial strategy today. Contact Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463 or email us at info@houstonhousewivesoffinance.com. Ask us how you can participate in our complimentary financial literacy workshops near you. Houston House of Finances are the new face and the new age of financial services.
So, Chef Greenhouse, you were just talking about when you were going shopping, right? Like, so you're in the grocery store and people are kind of looking at you like, why would you be putting X, Y, and Z in your cart? Or maybe that's the feeling that you were getting, of course. And we have that, looks like Dr. Shanika has some shopping cart secrets for those of us that, I mean, you know, I have this huge thing right now and no one in the room has watched it, so I can't really talk about it. But what the health is this Netflix kind of like craze? Everybody's talking about it right now. And I was telling Gary, I was like, I need to watch it to the end because they're saying you shouldn't eat this, you shouldn't eat that, you shouldn't eat this. But what can I eat?
Right.
So like when I go to the grocery store, I have a toddler, or not a toddler. He's not a toddler. He's not my baby anymore. But I have a 4-year-old who doesn't like to eat anything.
Right.
And so what can I get? What can I put in my shopping carts? And it looks like you have a page that's kind of specific for that.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Actually, what we put into our bodies is very important. And the grocery store is kind of set up so that you can win if you follow the right protocol, so to speak. So I put together this shopping. I did a video a few months back, and I was in the grocery store and I was shopping, and it was like, you know what, let me do a Facebook Live so you guys can see exactly what's going on in my cart. And I made specific points to say that you want to make sure that you shop on the periphery, right? So there are 4 walls to any building, right? Periphery, those 4 aisles, so to speak, that you want to get your fresh produce, your fresh meat, if you're going to eat meat. That's where all of your fresh products are, right? That's where all your green leafy vegetables are. And then I also make a point to say, and this is just another shopping, is that you want your shopping cart to be colorful. You want it to be bright. You want it to be beautiful, right? You want it to look like the rainbow. So, you know, foods that are high in antioxidants, foods that are high in those nutrient values, they have a lot of color to them. So you want to make sure you add that to your shopping cart. So I put together this free document. You can just go right and you can download it with no problem. It's bit.ly/Dr. Shanika Shopping Cart Secrets, and I'm sure we're going to post that link up for you to grab that. But you can go ahead and put your email information in, and you'll get that free copy.
I love that she does that because that's a really, really neat thing to have. I mean, and having that beautiful shopping cart, that's so cool. I love that. So you're saying basically, if I'm going to the grocery store, I just need to walk on the edges. Walking in between is going to give me those cravings that I have to go for, right? And then another thing that I had heard, also a good tip, is don't go to the grocery store hungry, right? So when I go hungry, I'm like snacks, and more snacks. So
yeah, definitely on the inside of the aisles, you'll find your box foods, you'll find canned foods. A lot of those foods are high in sodium. That increase water gain and increase your blood pressure. A lot of processed foods are on the inside of the aisles. A lot of the snack foods, your sodas, your juices with the high fructose, all of that is on the inside. So once you start learning how to fill your cart with the fresh stuff, you're less likely to fill your cart with the bad stuff later.
So, Chef Greenhouse, have you, since you're in the catering business, how are you running into people who are requesting healthier menus, or are you seeing still a trend of unhealthy requests? I mean, because the stats is that 2 out of every 3 people in America are overweight or obese. That's an actual like live stat. So overweight is, I mean, that could be just barely, but all the way from barely overweight to obese, 2 out of 3 people. So what are you encountering in your request to cook and provide menu items for people?
Well, for the most part, I only provide healthy foods. So I try to stick to what people are used to seeing, but with the healthy approach to it. Now, I do have some customers who just want to eat. So,
sure.
For those customers who are just looking for what they're used to getting, and we accommodate those as well.
And so I asked you this question, I think, earlier, but for the listeners, I thought it was really interesting that you've battled with obesity and then you were a chef, because that's a constant interaction with food. How do you deal with that? And especially when you're grocery shopping, because somebody like me, I'm like going for the healthy stuff, but I mean, there's that natural temptation to want to get some of those sweets and desserts and things like that. So, I mean, to listeners that for people, especially since your job is dealing with something that you've battled with, how do you counteract that?
It's really all about staying with the plan. If you have a goal and you know that you're not supposed to have it, you just don't have it. For me, it's just about healthy snacks, like you said, not going to the grocery store when I'm hungry, focusing on more vegetables instead of more sweets and more carbs. That's just the key to it.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to let everyone know that we always, of course, appreciate all the viewers on Facebook Live. We are going to, of course, end it because then we have to tease you and get you on to our actual.
Such a tease, girl.
Yeah.
Such a tease.
Yeah. I've been doing this my whole life. So.
Hair popping and teasing the boys.
My lipstick brings. So we do ask that you subscribe to our show on all of the major platforms. That, of course, includes iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Our show, of course, is Docs. However, the Sphere does have many other shows that are amazing to watch and listen to. So by all means, go ahead and subscribe. We would like for you to review us, please, with constructive feedback. We want to hear what you guys want to talk about, what you want us to talk about, and of course, give us more reasons to laugh at ourselves. So please, constructive criticism only. Share this Facebook Live post with your friends, your family. We're literally today talking about 2 out of 3 people that are struggling with obesity and or their weight and choosing right food. So that means that you know somebody that needs this. So please share this. And if you could donate to the mission of bringing this kind of content, smart, funny, intellectual content to the world, you can do that by going to www.thesphere.tv/donate. So one time for all of our supporters.
What does one time mean for?
Gosh,
for all of us, like one time clap. Yeah. So you just clap like one time.
Yeah, one time, like
okay.
One time.
I hear people say that, but
we have people
like,
booing us on Facebook Live for leaving. So I'm so sorry.
Guess what? Come follow us.
I'm so sorry. Subscribe.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. We will continue this conversation.
Bye, guys. So, okay, let's talk about obesity then. So we've talked about how thick is too thick, but what is actually obesity? Like, what's the definition? How do we know? Because I may be obese and I don't know it. So, Dr. Shanika, could you tell us, like, what is it? Tell us what obesity is.
Absolutely. So the way we kind of measure that is through the BMI, or your body mass index. And what that does is it kind of neutralizes, I guess, how we determine what should be your ideal weight. So for instance, you will put in, and you can Google any BMI calculator, and you go ahead and put your height and your weight in there, and it will calculate your BMI based on your height and your weight. So that kind of gives us a standard of what it should be. So BMI numbers are 18.5. Anything less than 18.5, you're actually considered to be underweight. 18.5 to less than 25, you are considered, that's the normal ideal weight. Anything over 25 to 30 is considered overweight, and 30 and above is considered obesity. And then obesity is actually broken down into 3 types. Type 1, type 2, type 3, depending on the severity. So 30, 35 is type 1, 35 to less than 40 is type 2, and greater than 40 puts you at severe or morbid obesity.
So how accurate is that? Because sometimes I feel like people say, like, okay, I'm really muscular and I weigh a little bit more. My body mass is this, and that. So, I mean, how accurate or how hard should we be looking at the BMI? Is it really like the only indicator for obesity? What are your thoughts about it? Because I look at Serena and baby girl look like she got muscle mass for days, thighs for days.
Are we talking about Sabrina Williams?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So would she be considered
like
obese?
Yeah, because if I look at her body, I'm like, she's really, really, built, but she's got probably no body fat. Right. I don't even think this baby got belly fat. I think that this baby
gonna come out fine.
Coming out like
gonna come out fine.
Like my mom is the champ. Like, so I don't even think she has body fat. So what is a fair obesity? I mean, is that obese at all? Is that a good indicator?
BMI doesn't actually determine if you're obese. So there are other factors that are taken into consideration by your physician. It does not account for your percent body fat. Okay, so that's usually taken with skin to see the skin thickness will kind of determine what your body fat is. It doesn't take account into water weight. It doesn't take account into mass muscle, right? So the muscle.
Gotcha.
So you have to, in addition to the BMI, it is a screw tool, okay, to kind of get an idea of where you are, but then you also have to use those other measurements to determine whether you're going to be at risk for those comorbid diseases like diabetes, heart disease, high cholesterol, that sort of thing. So you have to take the full picture into consideration.
Well, let's talk a little bit about those risk factors, and I wanted to kick it back over to Mr. Green, or Chef Greenhouse, about were you battling any risk factors when you were dealing with obesity, or did you actually get some? I mean, did some of these things actually become part of who you are? How do I say this? A part of your medical history, to say this week.
I had high blood pressure, and it was extremely high. I was on 2 different medications and the water pill, and I was taking all that stuff twice a day.
Wow.
And my blood pressure was still high.
So what was your average blood pressure? Do you remember what you were running about?
Like 150 over 90 or 100, just depending on the stress level, everything going on in life.
Got you. So has that kind of come down now? Have you seen that? Have you been able to get off medication so far?
I'm only on 1 medication. It's a 10 milligram medication, so it's a low dose. And yeah, I'm pretty much off of it. So probably by the next time I go see my doctor, I'll be off of it.
That's awesome. Let's high five on the table. All right.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
So what are some of those risk factors, though, Doc? I mean, what are some of the things that we're looking at with obesity?
Sure, and I'm so glad that Chef was able to come off the medication, and I think that's a strong testimony to how diet, exercise, and lifestyle changes can actually prevent as well as reverse disease. So, once you're diagnosed, and I think part of the problem is individuals think that once they're diagnosed with something, that's what they have for the rest of their life. And a lot of these diseases are, number one, preventable. So the things that you put into your body can actually help you prevent the disease. They are reversible, and you can actually come off of medication. So I'm super excited that we have a living testimony to be able to say, look, I was on X amount of medications, lost the weight, and my blood pressure has come down. I changed my diet, changed my lifestyle. Look what I can do. So kudos to you. Virtual high five over here.
Love it.
But some of the risk factors that we're looking at, with obesity are diabetes, okay, which is what people call the sugars, right? Your grandma, your great grandma, you heard it all the time. I got the sugars, right? Diabetes is a disease of the how your sugars are metabolized. Sugars are used for energy, right? And if they stay in the blood too long, then it can cause some other problems, microvascular problems, so problems with your eyes. Individuals can become blind, vasculature in the legs, in the heart, your kidneys. It affects much all of your organs. We also are at a higher risk if you are obese and overweight. You're at a higher risk of developing high blood pressure, which usually is due to increased salt intake into your diet, right? So, causing your blood vessels to respond, saying, I need to work harder to get rid of this salt. Then there's also high cholesterol when your arteries get clogged up with cholesterol. That's called atherosclerotic disease, and it can cause you to have issues with your heart, right? So that can affect your cardiovascular disease. So, obesity is not a benign thing. It's not I'm just big bone, accept me for what I
I
am.
was just gonna ask you that. Like, are you like, hey, I got them big bones? When people say that to me, I'm like, so are you like born with like big bones? I just don't believe that that's how Jesus made you. Like,
Well, and I hate it so much because it's so inaccurate.
Yeah,
like
it's like-
it's actually inaccurate. Once
Yeah.
your muscle and your mass melts off your bones,
Right.
my bones and your bones are
we're
going to be the same thing.
But
so
I think, and especially in our community, I really
Yeah.
believe in the African American community. People will be like, oh, he come from that thick family, like
Right.
they big bone, and I'm like,
Right.
that's not like, I don't think your bones
well,
is bigger
so
than like
if
my bones.
any of y'all would just watch What the Health,
Oh
then
God! Okay, so plug for Netflix, y'all. Hey, so and actually, since we're talking about sponsorships, let's segue into that. This portion of the show is sponsored by The Sphere. Are you starting your business or looking for a place to advertise? And do you need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at The Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content developing delivery platforms including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspired dialogue coupled with your strategic ad is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send us an email at advertise@thesphere.tv. So since she is super plugging Netflix guys, if you are anybody watching that is a industry exec, let's come on and give these coins over to the Sphere.
absolutely,
We need the help.
absolutely. Or if you give the coins to me, I will then share. With
I don't know if that arrangement is gonna go over with Gary Sewell,
look,
right?
Look, I'm
You all
here
about
for
getting
the
your
community.
cut, right?
Yeah, I'm here for the community. Yeah, don't skip over the messenger.
The little people.
Yeah,
right?
like I
Give
brought
my
it.
coins. And
My point was that on What the Health. Okay, so the reason why I'm like talking about it so much is because my patient brought it up yesterday, and she's going vegan from watching the show because she knows that I was vegan.
You were vegan?
Not long time, but for spiritual reasons.
Oh, okay, like the Daniel fast.
Yes, the Daniel fast for 28 days.
Oh, then I've been vegan too.
Right, so you've been vegan too, right? Everybody who's ever done this has been a vegan at some point in their life. Yeah,
have you
so
done the Daniel fast before?
No.
So you've never been vegan?
No.
well, then you're exempt from this conversation. However, what they were saying was that it's not, you have these people who say that it's like my family's big boned or whatever, but it's just learned behaviors.
Right.
Like your parents maybe eat really bad. They may not be, they may not manifest their weight the way their children do. So they may be the smaller of the family members, but then they're still eating all the bad stuff.
Absolutely.
And their children are just picking up the bad habits. So
That's like how when our patients, one time for the dentist, so like how our patients
Like
say
to
to
use
us,
things
like I do like immediately want to use it, but like how our patients will say, I my parents didn't have any teeth, so I'm not gonna have any teeth. That's just a learned behavior. Like, no, your parents didn't go to the dentist, so you didn't go to the dentist, and therefore periodontal disease is rampant. But you're completely right. I agree with that. So Doc, I know you were talking about a couple of the risk factors. You started off with you got into high cholesterol. What are some other ones?
Absolutely. It puts you at higher risk for stroke, right? So we know that stroke has decreased blood flow to the brain, causing you to have some type of deficit, whether it's the slurred speech or droopy eye or so when that same thing that we talked about, the atherosclerotic disease, that affects the brain. So once your arteries are closed off, right, they can't get blood to where it needs to go. And that can include to your kidneys, right? You can have kidney failure. It can go to your eyes. You can go to your brain.
Oh no.
Oh no, we'll get her back. So I mean, there's so many risk factors from just eating. I mean, just being obese, right, or being overweight. So I think the other piece that we definitely need to consider is the actual socioeconomic piece that this role plays, like urban communities, food deserts, all these things. I mean, short story, me and my daughter were looking for a grocery store to run into to grab a gift card and like treats for someone who's graduating. We're in a part of town, and I realized immediately that we're in a food desert. But then I asked my daughter, I was like, what is it that you're seeing in this community?
Right.
And she's like, cell phone shops and convenience stores.
No, and my favorite, checking the cash.
Right.
Right.
And I was like, well, where do you think these people are grocery shopping?
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, well, their nearest grocery store is a convenience store.
Right.
And she was like, but there's not like vegetables and fruit in there. I was like, no,
Yeah.
there isn't. So like socioeconomics do play a role in our diet choices. They just absolutely do.
I have a similar story. So I went to dental school in Newark, and so if anybody knows, I'm from Kansas. So not necessarily like the hood, but it's kind of country hood. But we still had grocery stores, and you probably lived next to a field, so you went and got some fruits and vegetables somewhere, you know. So got a chance to go into the grocery store right outside of Newark, which is definitely a very, very urban environment. And one of my Dominican friends, she pointed out to me, she was like, "This is why our community has so many problems." And I had never, ever experienced that. Didn't even notice it. It was like somebody had to bring it to my attention because I didn't know that the food that was in the grocery store in the urban community, not even the convenience store, sometimes doesn't have the same quality. Of produce. So, but you did see the sugary foods. You see the sugary snacks. You got Kool-Aid on lock. You got Hawaiian Punch on lock. And so I had no idea that the grocery stores, even in the socioeconomic status, were different. And I couldn't believe it. She's like, how do you think that these people, instead of meat, bologna was like a rampant thing, right? You could get access to processed meat, but those fresh cuts of fish or food, meats, you just didn't have access to. And so, Jeremy, do we know a little bit about your background? Where are you from? Is that something that you've experienced in the grocery store? Have you noticed that as a chef too, like when you go cook, or tell us a little bit more?
Well, I'm from Louisiana originally. There's a lot of fresh meats and produce from Louisiana, but in my chefier times now, it depends on where you are. Like on 610, there's a lot of junk food in some of the retail stores, opposed to in Sugarland, where there's more fruits and more vegetables and more fresh and more organic.
Even in the convenience stores.
Even in the convenience stores.
Wow, I didn't know that. So I'm always the one going for like snacks. I need to do better, like about life. So I'm always like, yeah, where the snacks at? But I'm gonna go check that out because I didn't know that, and I'm glad that you showed your daughter that at a young age, because I completely didn't see that at all.
I just want her to stay woke.
Yeah, well, I love it. One time for the movement. I'm just gonna use it all the time now. So, why is that, Dr. Williams? Why do you feel like you see that in the lower areas, the lower socioeconomic areas?
Well, that is a loaded question.
Welcome back.
Right?
Oh, but welcome back, guys.
She's back. Welcome
She's
back. Yeah.
Like, don't they know I'm live? But yeah, that is a loaded. And we talk about how the government wants to kind of keep certain populations in check, and that's a loaded, very loaded topic. But it's unfortunate. Just like Doc said, listen, you don't know that it's wrong because you're in it.
Yeah.
You see it every day. You are part of it every day. You live it on a daily basis. So you have no clue that, what's happening to you is because of the things that are around you, your environment. Your environment shapes literally you.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, wow. That's like, did you see that? She said, literally you. That was a moment. Tagline? That made me feel special. Like, wow.
Well, because I think that
true.
it's interesting because my husband, and I love him to death, but he grew up eating a lot of junk food.
Yeah.
And so his taste buds today are very much like, ooh, I don't like that. Ooh, I don't like that when it comes to like healthy choices. And it's no, mind you, he didn't grow up necessarily dirt poor or, somewhere in the middle, but he was picky and his parents never forced him to eat the healthier choices. And then when his mom, would go to eat, she's like, I'm gonna grab these Hot Pockets, I'm gonna grab these pizzas, things like that are easy and simple, and I'm not gonna get any flash from my kids. So then their taste buds and their preferences revolve around soda. Versus water, or the Gatorades, the sugary drinks, or the chips versus apples for snacks. You know what I mean? And so, like, even when my kids come around the corner and they say they want a snack, I'm like, go get an apple out of the refrigerator, or go get some grapes, or there's watermelon, or there's these things. Versus, yes, do we have a cabinet full of the other stuff? Of course we do, but let's kind of guide them first down one, and then if you're still hungry, then we can talk about it. You know what I mean?
And I grew up in a snack family. I'm like, no lie. So that's why I like snacks. I mean, my mom was like, okay, so the dentist said that you couldn't have candy, let's get chips, and didn't even know that was the same thing. And I didn't grow up in a low socioeconomic status. I grew up very middle class. And my family isn't really obese. Everybody's pretty much slender, but I will say that truly we grew up in a family where fried fish and chicken was part of the diet. The snacks were always popping. Hot Pockets were always available. Pizza rolls were always around, and so cookies, and we just grew up that way. So you're completely right. Now that I pay attention to that, it's very hard for me to break those habits. When Chef Greenhouse was talking about, well, that's just not healthy. Mentally, now I have to reprogram myself into thinking like, okay, I've got to do better. And as you guys know, I suffer from endometriosis. So it's been a real, what the health probably would help me. That's what she said. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go home and watch it tonight. Tonight.
Text me
when
you're
text
done.
Okay. We'll have a moment. But
you're going to be, I'm telling you.
I'm going to be like a vegan all of a sudden. But like that's a really big part of the diet too, is we want to have an anti-inflammatory diet. And it is a battle. When I tell you cupcakes is my friend, like it's a hard thing.
So the interesting piece in this is that like it's not necessarily the sugar in the cupcake, it's the butter with the cholesterol that's the inflammatory. Yeah, and the lard. Like it's not the actual sugar that's the bad thing in it. It's and the frosting, right? So the frosting has the lard and the butter and all that. That's the actual thing that goes into you and causes the problems.
What? I'm about to watch what the hell.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both.
Now I just really can't have any of it.
So sugar of course has zero caloric reason. Like you don't need it in your body at all. Like it has zero nutritional value. Just like soda has like zero nutritional value. So the sugar isn't good for you in and of itself, but by itself, it's not complicating things as much as when you combine it with like the butter and the lard. And
I see what you're saying, like those complex polysaccharides and all that. Doc? Oh, I'm sorry. She's about to do.
So let me interrupt. Okay. I hate to do it, but I got to give a shout out to our Three Hues. This portion of the show is actually sponsored by Three Hues. Come paint, sip, and party at Three Hues. Join a party or book your own private event for kids or adults. Let Three Hues help you create your masterpiece on canvas step by step. A painting party is perfect for any occasion: a church function, wedding showers, team building, Girl Scouts earning their badge, date night, birthdays, or anytime you just want to have fun. Ask them about their summer camp programs, kids club, special events, and wine glass painting events. Did we mention that Three Hues is mobile too? Yes. You can go to the studio or they can come to you. Visit their website today, 3hueshouston.com.
So I think you were trying to chime in, Dr. Williams, about some of those risk factors. Or the sugars.
Sure. She was going to chime in about the cupcake.
Yeah.
Let's have a little bit of talk about sugar. So sugar, like you said, by itself may not be the main factor that's causing a lot of problems. However, psychologically, sugar plays a huge role because sugar is just as addictive as heroin, right? Wow. So it goes and it goes
I'm a sugar
the
addict.
Same. Yes, it attaches to the same neurotransmitters that are in your pleasure center. Right? So when you have a craving for sugar, you're craving those things that are, it's not something that you're like, oh, I need to watch this. You have a true pathology because you're actually craving it and you have to have it. You need to have it. You're going to do whatever you can, do to get to that sugar. And then also sugar blunts your taste buds. So same, my husband is the same way. I'm trying to get him to eat more healthy as well. And not ready. I don't want that. It doesn't taste the same. Blah 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 blah. But the problem with that is because his taste buds have been blunted, right?
So can you get your unblended
your
taste buds? Can my taste buds
Yes.
become unblended?
Absolutely, it's reversible.
I thought there was no hope.
No, it's completely reversible. So that's why my motto is I teach you how to live a healthier, happier life one plate at a time. Because you're not going to all of a sudden just change your diet and everything's going to be okay. You have to slowly start introducing foods that have natural sugars and natural the fats that are good for you before you're able to switches over to being completely able to tolerate it. So people that are going on these fad diets, right, and they're eliminating certain things from their diet, what happens? They crave it, they forget about the diet, and then they're back to where they started. Versus having lifestyle changes where you're actually changing your taste time as you increase your exercising and decreasing your sedentary lifestyle, then you're able to get back on track. Like if I drink tea, right, so I'll grab tea from one of the if I go get some quick fast food, instead of getting like a soda, I'll get a tea, and just the little bit of sugar that they have in that tea, I'm like, whoa, this is sweet. My husband tasted it. He's like, this tastes like water. What is wrong with you?
Wow. I did not know that. I learned something new today about the blended taste buds. Like that's kind of, I didn't know that.
So Chef Greenhouse, I mean, you clearly, what was your before now that you're 6 months into this. So before, what were some of your addictions, and do you feel like your taste buds, as Dr. Shanika has said, were blunted to some of the maybe healthier options?
Absolutely. My addiction was sugar. And before the surgery, anything sweet, junk food, chips, snacks, I was all about it. But after the surgery, more fruits and vegetables. At first, they didn't taste good. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they did because I wasn't used to eating it. And it's a learned process. And like you said, diets don't work. It's a lifestyle change. You have to be willing to do the work in order to get to where you want to be.
Sure. So your motivator, because I think I wanted to go a little bit more into your story, but so your motivator was your family.
Absolutely.
They kind of taught you, like, you wanted to be with them. You were married. You're like, I want to get this going and I want to be around. So tell us a little bit about how you even got to that point. Like, how did you even get to, I guess, even being obese, one, and then what's your journey been back to health?
Well, poor diets, like you said. My parents, our idea of grocery shopping was snacks. So my mom instilled in us that finish your plate. And finish your plate for most people is, even though I'm full, I have to eat it before I can get up. So the portion sizes is very important in order to maintain or lose weight, because if you're overeating, it's not helping. Sure. It's not helping at all. So more pleasure eating. I live a busy life. Even when I was working and catering, it's stop and get something real quick. Like you said, McDonald's, convenience. Salads aren't convenient to eat when you're driving. So dollar menus for the past 20 years has been going up, and that's where health has been going wrong, because it's so convenient to go spend $2 or $3 and get quick snacks to get to your next quick snack.
And they say that when you're dealing with people who are economically having challenges, it's much cheaper in that moment to feed their children off of the dollar menu, because
Absolutely.
it's quicker. They're consumed with being busy with work schedules
Right.
and all these other things. So they're like, I don't have the money to go spend, to and I say it in quotes, but to buy the healthier options, because that, those bag of grapes are going to cost me $6, and that's just a bag of grapes that my kids can go
Right.
through in a night.
I mean, eating healthier is sometimes more.
It can
be more expensive.
Yeah, and it's like you were saying, it's not as convenient. I mean, you know, carrying around your lunch that is a healthier pick is a more inconvenient thing to do than to drive through a drive-through, and you're not worried about where my lunch is. Did I pack it? How much did I pack? Am I still going to be hungry? You know, so convenience does play a role in it. I mean, it's not fair, but it's true.
Right.
Especially when on every corner you have something fast food related that you can buy to eat. And I mean, I prefer a salad over a hamburger most days. However, the hamburger's quicker for me to eat.
Absolutely. And the kids, I mean, you like you said, you passing it on to your family. So you were talking about how those poor habits started with your family and then just became a part of who you are. So one of the questions I even have for you is that now that your lifestyle has changed, how has that impacted your family?
Well, when I met my wife and the girls, they were on a healthy lifestyle. I was still the junk food eater. I hadn't had the surgery yet, so I had kind of started introducing my way of life to them.
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
So did they regress?
They did.
Ah,
They did.
okay.
And when I noticed it, I'm like, wait, we have to change something. And it starts with me. I'm the head of the household. I brought the bad ways into it, and we need to fix it through me.
Well, so how has that been? I know.
It's been working. There.
What about your parents or your family members, the people that actually taught you the bad habits? Because I always think that, you know, I have a friend, and when he comes to visit, his family, they may have had bad habits now, right? And so then he's like, well, I don't eat this and I don't eat that, and they're like looking at him with their nose down, like, you don't eat fried food, you don't eat this catfish, and then parents get offended, like in our community too, like, well, wait a minute, you didn't finish your plate. Like my mother, I'm a pickier eater, so one of the things she's always saying is, you take someone to a fine restaurant, she's not going to finish everything. Well, I eat till I'm full, and then I'm like, okay, then I'm done. So I can take home and eat on that meal for 3 days. But how has that been, I guess, with your parents trying to introduce that new healthier lifestyle?
At first, they were resistant to it. As the years go on, because I've been cooking healthy for a couple years now for actually clients, just introducing them to different flavors. It's really all about flavors. If you can incorporate flavors into healthier foods, and it will taste like they're used to. But my dad, you know, he's from Louisiana, and he eats rice with every meal, so he still eats rice with every meal. I mean, some habits you won't break, but we keep trying.
Yeah, that's good. So, you actually, you know, and I'm a very solution-driven person. Like, I like to discuss the problems, but I also really, really prefer to discuss the solution, which is, for me, you know, I'm now at this place where I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with the way I eat? And you had a solution, which was gastric bypass, which for you was what you needed to do, right? I mean, you have lost 130 pounds in 6 months.
That's amazing.
So that's just in and of itself completely amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
But there's, you know, gastric bypass, for those who don't know, can you explain it? Or, you know, Dr. Shanika, can you explain it? Like, those people who have never heard of it.
Okay. Well, I'll start it off, and Dr. Shanika, you can finish it. I had the gastric sleeve surgery, and what that is they cut a part of my stomach out and made it smaller. So I can only drink like 2 ounces of water at a time, and I can't drink and eat at the same time. So it's difficult at first because you have to get used to 30 years of doing whatever you want to do, and in a day it all changes. So that was the hardest part, the adjustment of it. And I think what we miss a lot is vitamins and not taking our supplements. So back in November, we got introduced, I actually partnered with the vitamin company called Isotonics, and that's what we offer in my catering business. But with the supplementation, it helps the transition. That's why I've lost so much weight so fast.
Okay.
It's because I'm properly how do you say it?
I get what you're saying. You're
got
getting
the
your
right
nutrition
nutrients,
properly
absolutely.
through the supplements that you're taking
Absolutely.
with Isotonics. Got it.
Yes.
So do you feel like some people, you know, I mean, there's a lot of people that relapse from gastric. Like they're able to, you know,
because you can stretch your stomach back out again
From-
too, right? From overeating.
Absolutely.
You can keep pushing it too far, right?
It's really mental. If you want to make the change, the surgery can help you, but you have to want to do it for yourself. You have to put the work in. So you have to change your diet. You have to change your lifestyle. I mean, everything has to change. It can't be like it was before the surgery, or why'd you even have it?
One of my favorite TV shows is that TLC, like My 600-Pound Life. And you see that that's a huge battle with people. Absolutely. I mean, and it's not necessarily, the support system isn't great, you know, so that they've adapted these bad habits and people aren't cheerleading them on. And then also, too, psychologically, it's a really big thing. So, Dr. Williams, you were kind of touching in on how sugar is a psychological addiction, which now I'm just like, oh, my God, I'm addicted. I really was like, God, I really am addicted to sugar. And so as a dentist, that's so like job security, right? But
I love sugar. I'm team sugar.
I'm the kid that's like, I'm the person's house that when you go trick or treat for Halloween, you will get candy, not toothbrushes, because I support the whole like
I'm
movement with
the
candy.
doctor's office that you walk in and I have like the bowl of candy.
You're like,
and people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, job security.
Job security, keep these jobs, keep these cavities
exactly.
going. But from a psychological standpoint, with some of these solutions, because I know we don't have that much time left, but when we talk about some of the solutions and the psychological effect with them, could you go into a little bit more detail?
Absolutely. I can talk about the bariatric surgery and who qualifies for that. It's usually individuals who have, we talked about that BMI earlier, the BMI greater than 35. If you have any of those comorbidities that we talked about, as well as hypertension, diabetes, sleep apnea, but sleep apnea, high cholesterol, and then individuals who have a BMI greater than 40, regardless of whether they have any comorbidities or not, they qualify for it. And it's, as Chef can tell you, it's a very extensive process. You actually have to do a trial and error of trying to lose some body weight and body fat before you are even able to have the surgeries, right? And then you also have to go through psychological testing. They send you to a psychiatrist to make sure that you are mentally prepared to undergo this journey, because it's absolutely a journey and you don't want to regress. But then there are other medications before we even get to that point. The 35 and older with the comorbidities is usually if they failed alternative treatments, so dietary lifestyle changes, if they failed pharmaceutical treatments, so medicines. There are some FDA approved medications that doctors can prescribe to their patients. I won't mention what they are here because I don't want to promote anyone inadvertently, but there are medications.
And I like how Dr. Batiste is promoting Netflix, but go ahead, continue. I
mean, I'm a part-time actress. I have
sorry.
ideas.
Keep going.
My family is beautiful. Like
that's right. That's right. You gotta tell them, make them recognize. So medications, but the ultimate goal of them is to lose at least 10 to 15% of their weight. And it can either be to suppress your appetite. Some are even antidepressants that are combined with appetite suppressants. There are medications that make you poop out fat, right? So kind of things that'll kind of help you get to where you need to be. And if you have a failed trial of those, then and you fit into the range of surgery treatments, then that's probably the next option for you.
Okay, awesome. So starvation definitely is not a solution for trying to lose weight. Let's talk about that as I'm over here like
starving to death.
Yeah, so starving to death.
She's actually very hungry today.
Really hungry. But like, what are some of the other solutions? So, and is there? I know you talked about gastric. Excuse me, but there's different types of gastric too, right? Like there's the sleeve, and then there's bariatric surgeries. There's that sleeve, and then what's the other ones?
There's lap band. I know that.
Right.
I don't know a whole bunch of them. I'm trying to avoid needing that surgery, but
Dr. Williams.
But the purpose of them, they all do the same thing. It's to decrease the size of the stomach so that you're not eating as much. So the road to that, in the surgeon's hands is not as important, at least for this discussion. But it is important for the patient because then, you have to talk about recovery time and, some of their risk factors. So one surgery may be better than the other, depending on the risk factors of the patient.
What are some of the other solutions for obesity, people who are trying to combat that?
So the biggest thing that you can do right now is diet and exercise. And when I say diet, I don't mean do a fad diet. I mean change the foods that you're eating in your diet, right? So as you start to increase your vegetable intake that have a lot lower caloric intake than some of the fast food medication has a lower fat content, lower cholesterol content, you'll start to see changes in your body. Exercising, living sedentary lifestyles, sedentary meaning I'm just sitting around all day, I'm not getting up, I'm not moving, is one of the number one causes of obesity. So you have to get up, you have to get active, you have to work your muscles, your muscle mass, because as we get older, our muscle mass starts to decrease, which in turn decreases our metabolism, which causes us to gain weight. So, making sure that your muscles are active and they're doing what they're supposed to do is huge. Not becoming a bodybuilder, that's not necessary, but, making sure that your muscles are aged is important for weight loss. You want to make sure your environment is important as well. So like Chef said, he's the head of the household. So how you interact with your family, you can influence your family. So if you become an influence in your house, start eating more healthy, individuals in your household will follow eventually. I'm the one that shops, so I determine what comes into our refrigerator in our home, right?
Wow,
so
that's cool.
I influence what's going on in my family, whether my husband likes it or not, right?
Happy wife, happy life. So, well, guys,
Right.
I wanted to leave the opportunity for us to kind of wrap up this conversation and where we can find each other and have this conversation even more in detail. Dr. Williams and Chef Greenhouse, we really appreciate you guys being on the show. I've learned a lot, and I definitely think this conversation needs to continue. Maybe we need to have an obesity talk part 2. But if you guys want to find me, of course, Dr. Simone Ellis. Can be found on Facebook at Dr. Simone Ellis, or on Instagram at Dr. Simone Ellis. Of course, my dental office is Smile Design Studios, family and cosmetic dentistry, located at 6130 Highway 6 in Missouri City, Texas. And of course, I am also going to be speaking, for any of my viewers that are listening, at the NDA conference in Dallas this week on Friday from 3 to 5. Please come check me out there. And so let's go ahead and sign off, everybody. Where can we find you, Dr. Williams?
Absolutely. It's Dr. Scarborough now. Hey.
Oh, hey. Okay. Hey. Congratulations.
Thank you. Married as of January, so newly married. I'm Dr. Shanika, America's favorite family doctor. You can find me on all social media handles at Dr. Shanika, DrShanika. And you can also go to my website, www.drshanika.com. On that website, on the first page, you can click and download your free shopping cart secrets. Get all the good stuff on how to live a healthier, happier lifestyle, one plate at a time.
Thank you. Chef Greenhouse.
All my social media handles are Extraordinary Creations, extraordinarycreations.com, and I'm also located in Missouri City.
Perfect. And all of your social media, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you, Dr. Shanika, for Skyping in. We appreciate it. And Chef Greenhouse, thank you so much for coming. Very valuable and important conversation to have. Almost all of us probably need to change the way we eat and diet and exercise. So thank you so much for putting this on the forefront. We hope to talk to you guys some more. I am Dr. Chandra Batiste. You can find me on Instagram at Chandra Batiste and Twitter, Chandra Batiste. No, not on Instagram. On Instagram, I'm hotdoc.com.
I was about to say, ain't you hot?
But everywhere else, I am Chandra Batiste. My Facebook page is, Jesus Christ. My website is HoustonDentalWellness.com, and my office is named Elite Dental Wellness, and it's in the Galleria area of Houston. We look forward to you guys joining us next week. So thank you so much. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Bye.